Hey everybody, we're back. Thanks so much everyone for jumping on. We've got Shoflo here. Myself, I'm John Alexander, product specialist here. I've also got Croy, our director of product, with us today.
Hey guys.
So thanks so much for joining. As you guys know, we do this product webinar just about every quarter.
Yeah.
We've been trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, really excited. Thanks so much for kind of jumping on. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. As always, any questions that you guys have throughout this entire webinar, Shoflo related, it can be app, it can be workflow, anything like that. Make sure to throw those in to the chat or to the questions. We're going to be monitoring those, and we've got a section at the end of the webinar where we'll be getting through as many of those questions as we can. If we aren't able to get through them, we will directly email you, any responses and things like that. We've also got a gentleman monitoring the chat, so he may answer some of those questions if they're pretty simple and easy. So just to give you guys, well, actually to start off, as if anyone's ever done one of these, we like to do a quick little poll. As you guys, a lot of you know, we work in a lot of different industries, or work with a lot of you guys in different industries. So if you got a quick second, can you just fill out what industry you're in? And we're gonna actually share the results, try to get a good gauge of the different industries that you guys are all working in. So take a second if you get it, and we're gonna share in a quick second. Okay, awesome. I think we got some results. Let's see.
Great.
Looks like majority in corporate. Got a lot of sports people as well. Actually, just pretty split between corporate and sports.
Yeah.
I have some esports folks in here,
Fun.
which is awesome. Some broadcast, and then some other as well. Yeah, if you're an other, send a little chat. Let us know maybe a little bit more about what you do. Curious what's kind of brought you guys with us today. Maybe you're a friend or family member.
welcome friends and family.
Well, cool. Well, to give you guys a quick overview of what we're going over today, as with most of these kind of product webinars, we typically like to share some of the new stuff we're working on, and any new releases and things like that. So we're going to start off by showing I'll be sharing some of our new Shoflo templates. Some of you have stopped by some of our demo booths and things like that, and we've shared it, but we actually have released a lot of new templates for sports specifically, different leagues, NHL, NFL, basketball, collegiate as well as soccer, I believe. And then also we have a corporate event template in there as well. I also believe we have a broadcast, and
even some esports
esports. So I'll walk you through here in a second kind of how that works and operates. We're also going to go over our all new kind of coming up, our new dashboard, which Croy's going to touch on. Really excited for this. A lot of new stuff just to improve the kind of functionality and the intuitiveness, how you move in and out of things, create new stuff, and all of that. Also going to talk through a entirely new kind of team templates, which is something we're really excited for, just to help your team manage and how you create stuff even quicker, pull from previous things, all that type of stuff, trying to make that process even easier for you. And then also an all new kind of invite crew process. So how you're inviting, a lot of stuff and a handful of things kind of in between all that. And then again, we'll do kind of a Q&A at the end of this. So, and then kind of before I jump into the templates, I know on behalf of Croy and our team here too, thanks so much for any of you who have been consistently giving us feedback, jumping on user calls. Croy's going to touch on how you can get involved in those. Really helps us on what we're creating. You guys are the people we're building this for. So all that feedback is extremely important. And so thank you so much for those who have been a part of that and even have seen some of this new stuff that we're going to be releasing. So awesome. So let's go ahead and I'm going to walk you through kind of the new template stuff, or the new Shoflo templates. So let's just kind of move that up right there. Okay, awesome. So right from here, looks like we've got okay, cool. Right here, you just got your kind of, I'm in a demo team account called Demo Company. This could be, your corporate event company. This could be your 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 sports team. If you're a college, your different colleges with all your different sports teams within it. But I'm just going to jump into, I've got an example event created called XYZ Conference. I'm just going to click into here. And then from here, I can click on this plus icon. This is where you're creating your shows, your schedules, your lists, anything you're creating kind of from scratch. And I'm just going to select show. And you'll notice we have a create from template right here. If I click on that little drop down, it's going to bring up 2 different tabs, custom templates, and then also, so you'll see Shoflo templates. And as you see right here, we have a lot of new stuff in here. I'm going to start with just to show you a quick run view of what these kind of templates look like. I'll do a corporate run a show. We'll just title this corporate template. And I'm just going to click create show. Populate that in here. And I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to show this corporate, and I'm also going to show a sports template. So this is our example of our kind of corporate template. If you're looking for a place to start and you don't want to start with just a kind of vanilla show and have to build out some things, this could be a great way to kind of start something off. As you'll see, it's pretty simple. We use some color coding, some of the pre-formatted timing with sections and presets. And yeah, just some simple things, just a couple, 3 sessions. We've got an end of session calculating, your estimated end time of the show and all of that. So could be good start for those of you kind of in corporate events.
Yeah, and one thing, if you do use some of these templates we've gotten some great feedback of how to improve them, right? The
Yep.
goal here is to give you a quick start rather than having to build out something from scratch. So please give us some feedback on these as you use them as well.
Yeah, and any of you who have been users for a long time, I know I've talked to a lot of people who have done some really amazing things with their shows. If you have a show that you are able to share with us and you think it could be valuable to our other customer base, for corporate events or broadcast or even esports, we've actually leveraged a lot of other, all of our current customers, some of the people that have shared their templates with us, and we've provided those as well. So any feedback you guys have on those, definitely send it our way. Next, I'm going to show a sports template, and I know we've got a bunch of sports leagues gearing up. For this one, I'm going to show hockey, and so I'm going to again do the same thing. Click create show, go to Shoflo templates. I'm going to go down to sports hockey, and I'm just going to title this hockey template, and click create show, and we'll just jump into this real quick and walk you through that. So with sports, and those of you in sports know you've got timing is really important, both for pregame countdown as well as ways to help your different breaks for sponsorship breaks and cramming all the content you need for sponsorship, things like that within the different breaks and end of periods, if it's hockey, or end of quarters, or any of that type of stuff, or halftime. So this is just an example of what a hockey template looks like. The different leagues have a pretty similar flow, but obviously with the different breaks and things like that broken out. You'll see we have a little bit of some game notes up top, some important reference points for each game. We've got our gates open, some little color coding. And then also your standard kind of clock time already built in. You can, of course, adjust those as you need, but a lot of this is pretty standard for hockey. We even have some built out production notes, video, ribbons, audio, PA script, even some example PA scripts, which we've kind of seen has been pretty standard across the league. And then again, I'll just do a quick scroll through of some of the different sections, your national anthems. And then probably the more helpful aspect of this is for your different timeouts or end of periods and breaks with the pre-formatted segment countdown. So for this example, you've got your TV timeout, which is 2 minutes, and you can quickly see as you build out new elements based on the durations, we're going to tell you your over/under right at the very bottom of that. So if you're over by 15 seconds, it's going to be red. If you're under, it's going to be black, and it'll show you kind of your surplus or how much time you have left to kind of fit within that 2-minute segment. I'm not going to get too deep into the timing and all of that. We've got a lot of helpful articles that kind of talk through it, but just wanted to give you guys a good look at some of the different templates. Talked to a lot of current customers, a lot of new customers who really like it and are actually starting from this. So if you're a new customer looking to get started, definitely check those out. Or even if you've been a customer for a while, maybe you can revisit this and, build off of this as well. But again, as well as the corporate, if you have any thoughts or feedback on this, let us know. Connected with a gentleman at the last conference and showed him the NFL template, and we missed a couple 2-minute period or the 2-minute warnings. So we're not in the industry like you guys and building scripts as much as you. So if you have anything you'd like to add to any of the templates or things you think would be helpful, definitely send it our way, and we will kind of get those things, try to get those things added. Next, something that we, one of our, on kind of the hockey terms, we have the privilege of working with the Vegas Golden Knights. We just released about a 4 or 5 minute video. Those guys are rock stars over there. Got to connect with them a few weeks ago. We actually visited them on site. Got to kind of help tell a story on what their game presentation is like, the whole production process, and then as well as Johnny Greco and the team just explain how they use Shoflo, how it's helpful, and then some really just cool shots of their pregame and things like that. I think we're gonna throw the link to that case study in the chat if you want to check it out. It's about a 5-minute video, so maybe don't watch it right now, but maybe if you get a few minutes later on, definitely check it out. Let us know what you think. I really enjoyed it. So
whenever I see our case studies, I'm always reminded how our customers do way cooler things than us.
Yeah, way cooler.
We're super grateful to be in the journey with you, but very impressive stuff.
Yeah.
From the Golden Knights for sure.
Totally agree.
Vegas Knights.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, let's kind of transition over. Croy's going to walk everybody through the new stuff. And yeah, you want to go ahead and kind of take it away, Croy?
Yeah, thanks so much, Johnny. Very excited to be here showing off some new things. I'm going to get the screen set up here for us. So part of my role here at Shoflo is really working with the product team, right? And in doing that, one of the things I really enjoy doing is observing the comments and questions that come in through Intercom. It could sound a little odd, but for me, what's really important is when I see questions like, how do I access past events, or is there a way to get templates available for all my events that I'm doing, the access at the team level, or can we make inviting crew easier? Things like that are, for me, questions that I really love seeing, but also start my brain going, okay, I know we can do better in our product so that we don't even have to ask questions like that for our customer base. And so even though sometimes different questions come in that really lead us to building new products, right? Like prompter view or featured view for PA reads, or display view for back of house and really control rooms. Recently, we've been really investing in some of the common day functions that, whether we like it or not, are extremely important because they can either provide friction in our day or just become really easy. Right? And ideally for us, we're always building product that makes producing shows easier. And that comes in play when we're inviting crew, when we're creating new events, when we're creating new rundowns or game scripts. So we've spent the last few months really investing in how do we create the most clarity possible within a dashboard, which a dashboard for us is when you log into Shoflo, the screen you see. Right? We obviously have different types of users in Shoflo, whether you're a team admin or a non-team admin. And so we've taken the past few months to really focus on both the technology that it's written in and the design of those interactions and those screens of those common day things that you guys are doing in and day out, ideally to improve that. So I'm very excited to be able to show off what the team's been working on. And really starting on Thursday of this week, we're going to invite all of you into what we call an open beta, which will allow you to turn on this new functionality so you can test it, interact with it, tell us what you like, what you don't like, ultimately so we can make it great. Right, so I'm excited to do some show and tell of that today. So we are going to dive in here and walk through a couple different things. I will give an overview of the new dashboard specifically for a team admin, and then we'll just go through creating an event, really highlighting some of the new things like team templates and modified dates and times and inviting crew. So without any more there, let's just dive in. So as you can see, we are in current day Shoflo, right? Logged in for me here. If I go to my account settings, this is not something that you have available to you right now, but you will in the near future. I'm going to actually turn on some new functionality for me. So I introduced to you, right, a new dashboard.
Voila.
Voila. Internally, we've nicknamed this project Prometheus. Really excited just to be able to be a part of it. So let's start here. I'm just going to give kind of a brief overview. I'm logged in as Kroy Bosch. Right? I'm a team admin with XYZ Productions. So we are actually landing you, if you are a team admin, directly on what you call your team dashboard. So you'll have instant access, right, to your upcoming events, right, archived events, which those could have been events that happened in the past or ones that you manually archived, your global elements, your template library, something very new that we're introducing in this redesign, and so I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, and team admins. So let's just jump into this example. I am a team admin in XYZ Productions. If there's any reason I ever need to adjust the name of that or the logo of that team, I can jump into team settings, handle that right here in this modal. But maybe I'm a team admin on more than just this team. And as you can see right here, for me, I'm a team admin on XYZ Productions, demo company. And as I change this team, the events that I'm a part of specific to that team would obviously change according down below here in my upcoming events, as well as archived events, global elements, would all be specific to the team that I have selected. So let's jump back in here to XYZ Productions. So we'll go ahead and jump into an event. We've got a corporate event coming up. Actually, let's jump into our leadership conference, titled Lead. I've got this built out. Once I jump in, we're in what we call our event dash. Right? You can quickly see here's all the files that matter. We've got a schedule overview for the week, crew information. I've got day 1, day 2, day 3. Here's what I'll have, whether graphics or rundowns, all of that specific, right? GS general session in the morning, the afternoon. We can see quickly here's crew, saved and archived. And then in this scenario, let's say I'm ready to share this. I can jump into Event Guest Pass or Invite Crew, and I'll show and tell that in a little bit here. So I think it's going to be most effective just for me to walk through what it's like to create a new event and how different things like team templates are at play, the value that that can bring to you in creating a new event, whether you're in corporate or in sports, building out a brand new season. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as always, please type questions into the Q&A. We'll dive back into those here in a few minutes. And if we see a lot of questions coming in specific to a certain functionality, we maybe take a pause. Johnny, just interrupt me, and we can do that. Cool?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and create a new event. I'm jumping in. I'm actually just going to call this new event. We have in this event creation process have now integrated with Google Locations API. So in this corporate event, I've got a new event at the Rosen Center, big place here in Orlando, and include templates. So here is specifically where the new team templates functionality comes in play. Let's say as a production company who works specifically with corporate clients, there's a standard way that I want all of our producers to build out, general sessions, whether day 1, day 2, or product releases, or quarterly meetings, right? You know your world most effective, but ideally we're helping you build a very standard way to both provide the client the best experience and your employees the best experience, whether working with freelancers or your own team. So the hope here is that you can build out a specific template that you can just add directly into any event that you're building. Right. So in this scenario, I decided to add a general session, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 3, actually. I can go back and rename that one later. Let's say this event starts today, ends on the 6th of August. Also have time zone available here. We know a lot of our customers, specifically in corporate or esports, different broadcasts, are working with just time zones all over the world. So you choose your time zone, label if you choose to categorize your event specifically, the owner of that event that is being created, and then you can add event branding here, right? Whether it's a logo or your own team logo, whatever you choose to do there. So what you'll notice here is as we've created this new event, what has happened is we've created it specifically with these templates that we've pulled from the team template library. So day 3, day 1, day 2. So really the benefit here is that you can create these boilerplate templates. And I gave a corporate example, but even in sports, as you're going into a new season, if there's a template you have specific for preseason games or day of schedule or in season or postseason, we really want to encourage you to build out a template that you can use in any new event you create or really any show that you create as well. You can access those templates from here. And then what Johnny was referencing earlier, all the Shoflo templates, you will also have access to those that you can create from when creating a new event or creating a new show.
And to kind of interrupt a little bit on this too,
Yeah.
to kind of, I know we got a lot in sports. Really a big benefit of this team templates is it can also allow those of you who oftentimes like to maybe reference other shows or try to, when a lot of you gearing up for another season, are kind of duplicating a season or maybe starting from scratch and copying over. This can really allow you to target maybe certain game scripts, whether that's, if you're an NFL team, a couple off of, your season that might differ a little bit. Maybe it's a draft party and then a regular season game or something like that. Or if you're in collegiate, maybe it's one from each sports team, one from football, one from basketball, whatever. Saving those as templates, then when you go to this create new event process or create a new season for those of you in sports, you can then pull from that and preload those templates, which I know a lot of you are going through right now.
Yeah.
So this, I think, is going to be a big benefit, big time saver. I think a little bit of an easier workflow, and hopefully make a lot more sense. Moving forward. So,
love it. And as you all interact with this new functionality, please give us feedback if that's really helping provide more efficiencies as you build out event over event, etc. So I'll jump back in here. As you can see, we are on our event dash for new event. And then if I wanted to jump into a different event, let's say I wanted to just jump back into that leadership conference, I have an event really drop-down selector here that I can jump quickly in and out of. If I ever need to jump back into editing the event settings, like we were referencing, a logo or time zone or name, location, you can jump back in and just do all of that here. And let's say in this leadership event, I'm ready to share, right? I want to make sure the right crew has the right permissions, or I want to leverage GuestPass to really give this out to our client to make sure that they're informed on what's going on day of. I just jump into here under our share dropdown, click invite crew. And one of the things we've added recently is, you might call this kind of a live search specifically for crew. I just type in the name or the email of the individual I want to add as crew. And if they are a user that has logged into Shoflo in the past, that have been a part of an event you have held, they would appear on this live search element here. If they are somebody that's not within Shoflo, and we'll just give an example here. Whoops. This individual has not been a part of a Shoflo event in the past. I just enter their email, hit enter, and when I choose to hit send, that individual, aubreybosch@gmail.com, would receive an invitation to log in to Shoflo, create a user, and have access to this leadership conference event with read-only permissions. So if I desire to give this group of people contributor permissions, can just make that edit here. And as you can see, the process really is about making this more efficient and more clear for really what's going on with inviting people into Shoflo. I'm not going to send these emails at this moment. But also we have our crew tab here that highlights who already has permissions to this event. But let's jump back in if I wanted to share GuestPass. For an example, if I have a client who just wants day of access, jump in here to the GuestPass under share, handle all your toggles, right? Just hit done, and GuestPass would be available as normal, whether you want to copy the link here or open in a new tab. All right, let's jump back out. Some other new functionality that we've introduced is also the ability to archive and delete certain events. So specifically for our customers who have retention policies around their content, right? A lot of common day is kind of a 5-year retention that you have to have a hard delete for certain content. We recognize that. We want to embrace that and support you in kind of your different legalities that you're responsible for. So just a quick walkthrough of that. Any event that is in the upcoming events must first be archived. And then at that moment, that event will go into this archived events tab.
Like a soft delete.
Yep, that's a great way to reference it. Yeah, like a soft delete. So you can come back here and access that event. You could then duplicate or restore from here. But in this scenario, I know this isn't the event that I just deleted or archived. That one's a little bit lower. But if I wanted to delete this, I would come here, just type in the name of the event, hit delete, and then at that moment, that event would be hard deleted, right? So that meaning removed, not able to be accessed again. So for some of you, that's an important thing for legality purposes. For others, that could be scary. That functionality will only be available for team admins. That's also why we have like a double confirmation. You have to type in the exact name of the event there. So let's quickly jump into our template library. I'll walk through this, and then we'll take a moment to just talk through some questions.
Yeah.
Sound okay?
Keep sending them in if
Cool.
you guys have any.
All right, so template library. When I was creating an event earlier, you notice I had the availability to pick GS Day 1, GS Day 2, Day 3, and I'm pulling from that template library I've created. So if I wanted to create a new template, I would just simply come under here, create new, show schedule list. Let's just create a schedule template. We will just call this, actually we'll just call this like at a glance. All right, maybe this is a simple template you want at a glance to give a really brief overview of the agenda of the week or the weekend. I'm here. I now can jump into this at a glance template. Build this out however I choose. Saves automatically like all things in Shoflo do. I jump back, and in that template library, this would be available at a glance at any moment. I am creating a new event or a new show. So just to give an example there real quick. And I can see at a glance here as a team template that's available. So would love for you all to interact with that and really go as deep and wide as you can with templates. Our belief is that it can really help create some efficiencies when creating event over event, or really provide some standardization within your rundowns or game scripts.
Yeah, I mean, if you're part of a large corporate production company, maybe there's a lot of producers underneath, as a top-down approach, being able to standardize the way that your general sessions or your production schedules, how those are formatted, and then equipping the producers or whoever's creating these rundowns to pull from, so that no matter what part of event they are on, all of them have a very similar kind of style and flow. Those are just some other ways of kind of how this can be helpful.
Yep. And then we'll quickly jump into really getting this in your hands.
Yeah.
Anything else I forgot there, Johnny, that you wanted me to highlight?
I don't know if you want to touch on the modified date
yeah,
aspect. It's kind of
great.
a cool little
Thank you.
new thing that we threw in.
Yeah, let's jump into that. Some new functionality actually within our event dash is what you'll see is details around when this file was last modified and by whom. So in this example, I hopped in here, modified this an hour ago. You can see in some of the other events, we'll just jump into this corporate conference, was doing some work yesterday and earlier today. So the hope here is really just about versioning, right? Making sure you're accessing the latest version, who has contributor permissions to something, and just making sure that you're locking down the most valid content within the rundown or the game script you guys are building. So let's talk about how to get this really in your hands so that you can begin interacting with it and providing feedback for us. And then we'll take a break to provide some answers to any questions that have come in. All right. So let me just actually jump back into the current day show flow. All right. Coming on Thursday of this week, August 1st, all of those who have registered for the webinar here will get an email. And we'll make sure to include, okay, how do I opt into this new dashboard experience and really get the benefits of the things like team templates, modify, new invite crew, and all of that. And the way that you would do that is you just jump to your account settings, and you'll see an early releases section down here. You just toggle that on, and if you log out, then log back in, you'll see the new dashboard functionality. Right, so let's jump in to that real quick. If you're in the new dashboard functionality and just something isn't registering, something's not working as you expected, first thing, please give us feedback, right? I mean, please come down here, hit intercom, say, hey, I'm interacting with this new dashboard and I can't find X, or I was expecting this, but this is happening, right? Our hope here is to build software, like we say, that makes producing shows much easier. And there is no hard feelings when you say this isn't done right. Right? We want to embrace the journey with you as we create just great software, and we really invest in doing that. So please share your open feedback with that. Share the things you like, you dislike, etc. But if you're at the point where you need to jump back into the current day dashboard, right, not looking at this, but looking at maybe what you're looking at right now on your screen, you just jump into your account settings here. You'll see early releases. You just toggle that off, you save, and then log out and log back in. And then you would have the dashboard experience you're familiar with as you're looking at your screens today. So like I said, that it will be, you'll get an email on August 1st. You'll be able to interact with some of these new things. Please give feedback. If you're somebody who really likes to help provide clarity of feedback, share why, share more ideas, we're going to share the link to sign up for a product feedback session. Please pick a date, choose a time that works for you. We'll spend 30 minutes getting to talk with myself and one of our product designers really around, what are you experiencing in Shoflo? What do you wish was there? We might ask you to give us other feedback specific to your scenario or your industry. And to be honest, it's one of my favorite things, just to be able to connect with each one of you, hear about what's going on in your world, understanding the frictions and pain points, and ideally build software that helps eliminate some of that. So we're going to pause here and just see if we have any specific questions, and we'll then go from there.
Yeah. Let's see here. Looks like we did have a few questions. If you do have a question, fire those things away. Let's see. We had a question that says, if we aren't using a template, how can we add the timeout over under to a current script or a script not using a template? Good question. I can jump over, or do we have a view of, or can I just jump into a, should we switch back? Or
If you want to do that, sure, I'll do that for us.
Yeah, I think that might be the easiest.
Yeah, just make sure.
I won't dive too deep into this. We can definitely get you an article that kind of walks you through it, but I'm just going to pull up one of the templates and just kind of walk through how that works right here. So I'll jump into, I think I had created this hockey template. So the way that the timeout over under works, and this can work across any industry. If you want to create let's say you have for corporate or broadcast, you have a segment or a section that needs to be a certain amount of time, or maybe you're just building a show and you need it to be within, maybe you have a panel or a presentation that's a 20-minute, and maybe there's a series of items that happen during that, and everything adding up needs to add up to be 25 minutes. That can be done through our preset clock, which you can adjust this from a clock time format to just a countdown format of like 6-digit time. But you'll see right here for this TV timeout in item 32, we set up this 2-minute, and you'll see the flag. To get to that at anywhere in the entire show, if I want to set it up, I just double click on the preset clock, which you can bring in, and I can set that to be whatever's counting down from. So that can be if that's 2 minutes, if that's a 15-minute for halftime, whatever it is. Set that, make sure that this flag is directing down, and then from there, the rest of it will be calculating through it. And the other kind of way that this is formatted is you include an extra element or an extra item at the bottom of this kind of segment that is, you just title it your over under, and you can make that end of timeout over under, end of halftime over under, end of panel over under, or end of show over under even. If you want to use this as you have an hour long show and you want to show all of your what your over under is based on that hour, works in the same type of way. And then from there, the biggest thing is and the great way to actually check your flags, if you hover over the flag, we're going to show you with these down arrows the direction that timing is moving. There's also a way that you can do reverse timing or back timing. Definitely not going to talk through all of that right now. We don't have enough time, but we do have articles, as with anything, on how to do that. And then lastly, to kind of round off that question, if you aren't able to figure that out, definitely reach out to us via chat or send us an email. We'll definitely make sure we can help you get that formatted correctly, because I know a lot of you have been using it for a while and maybe you aren't leveraging those, but this would be helpful. Definitely let us know if there's anything we can do to kind of help you get that set up.
Yeah, that's great. Another question I'm seeing coming in
Go.
is, can you turn a past event into a template?
Good question.
Yeah, it's a really great question. And I might have a few follow-up questions to get some clarity around exactly that. And so if you're the individual who asked that question, I mean, please, if you can, sign up for a usability session or reach out on Intercom just to share a little bit more. But at this moment, the direct answer would be no. You can't turn a past event, assuming that you're meaning all of the contents of the event. But you can save a file as a template. Right?
Yep. Or as a show or a schedule.
Right.
Or,
Yep. So that would be a way to accomplish what I think you're after in that, but would love to hear more around some of the details of if I'm misunderstanding that question, to learn more about like what does it mean to save an entire event as a template with some of the different, is that settings or crew plus content? So feel free to reach back out just to provide clarity there.
Looks like it is. They did mean saving it as a show, so I think you're good.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you would basically access, and that's a great way. A lot of you have been using the product for a while and have previously run events and shows and games. So that's absolutely a great way to help help get those templates created.
Yeah, just using past events, past shows, just save as template, and those will be available as a team template for future events and shows.
Yep. Let's see. Another question: is it possible to share a private note to a group and not to everyone? If I'm understanding, I think you're referring to our private notes section, kind of in the show, which those may be unaware. This is a utility column that is only viewed and accessed by each individual user. So what that just means is, if I'm logged into my show from my computer, and my user, login and password, I have my own private notes. Croy, if he's a part of the same show, he'd have his own private notes. As of right now, there is no way of sharing that to sharing that to another group. If you need to make your private notes public, you can quickly kind of copy and paste it into another column. If you wanted to add another column or copy, if I have content in here, I can shift click, copy and paste across to another column and make that more visible. Or you can, of course, make an export to a PDF and include the private notes if you want to share that. So but I'd love to, send us some, a note. If that was your question, would love to learn a bit more about what that workflow is, kind of what you're trying to accomplish. Is that just getting a message out? Is that, because you're a large event and have a lot of users, maybe you're looking for ways to hide content from certain people? We would just love to hear what that is and kind of why that would be helpful. But that's a really good question. Awesome. How are we doing? I think that if you have any other questions, continue to send those things in. I think we're going to kind of from here talk through a couple more things, and we're actually doing really good on time, which is new for us. So high five. We're getting better. But so some stuff to kind of, wrap this up a little bit with, or other resources, other ways, to kind of continue using the product and things like that. The first would be our, if you haven't seen it, our Learn database, which is ever growing and will continue to probably grow and expand. And we're about to add a lot of new stuff to it as well with this new dashboard. If you click into your left navigation, or even just if you know the link, it's learn.shoflo.tv. We're going to throw it in the chat as well. You can also access it over here in the left navigation under this Learn tab, or this Learn kind of button. That's going to take you to this learn.shoflo.tv. This is just a collection of articles across a lot of different features and functionality. You can either search for your own kind of question, what you're looking for. If you get hung up on something, in the app, this will be the first place I would direct you to go to kind of see if you can find the answer. You can also self-discover, getting started resources, kind of some 101s. If you're a show caller, we have a whole breakthrough of articles on how show caller tracking works, some pro tips, best practices in here, a whole collection of articles on the Global Element Manager. Also, this is where you can access all of our previously recorded webinars. It's where this one will go as well. Both our product webinars as well as our spotlight webinars, which is, when we, invite some clients on, do some customers and talk through how they specifically use the software. It's a really intuitive, a lot of really good content in there. So if you're on, we've already done some with football. So if you're at all involved in creating or working in football scripts, I'd encourage you to check out the one we did with the 49ers in Western Michigan. We also did one for baseball with the Braves and the Salt Lake Bees. So if you're a part of baseball or create baseball scripts, definitely check it out. And we're going to be continuing to do those. I believe we do those. We're doing those about every quarter. We did recently do one in esports. Hopeful to get that one out, the recording out soon. So be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, so this learn page is just going to be an ever-growing collection of new resources. Also, if you locate in the FAQ, I believe you're going to see at the very bottom there's a Shoflo updates. There's also a link to this in the new dashboard, and then in Shoflo right now you can access it in new features. This is just the Shoflo updates page is just a general kind of release of some of the new stuff. I know on last product webinar we talked about one of our newest releases, which is an all new PDF export. If you didn't know about that, definitely check it out. You'll notice it in your download section. It's called PDF export. It's entirely new kind of rewrite of the PDF export, custom page breaks, create presets, a lot of cool stuff. Renders, you can pre-render the PDF right there within the browser, so you can see where your page breaks are lying without generating the PDF yet. So really cool stuff in there. And so that's where another place is just kind of check overall new features and new releases that we're making within the software. The other resource, I know a lot of you started using it recently, is a link which I think we're also going to throw in here. This is for all product feedback, features, ideas. You can post a thought or a suggestion, maybe an issue you're running into, and maybe a feature that you think could help solve that. Post that in there. You can also browse all of our current feature requests. If you upvote or you post on one and that is taken into kind of another status, whether that's we're reviewing it or we're working on it or we release it, you'll get notified. So that's a kind of a cool way to engage. Or it's just a general kind of chat or forum structure where you can kind of be involved in that conversation.
Yep.
And we can actually have conversations in there as well. Maybe when we start working on something, we might shoot over some ideas or kind of see the direction if it's, the way we want to go. Any other, let's see if there's any other final questions. Not a lot of questions today, which is, I guess, good and bad. But any other questions, definitely send those through. Or if you remember something after the call or if you forget your question and you remember it later, definitely continue to send those our way, the chat, feedback at shoflo.tv as well.
Yeah. Excited to get some of this new stuff out to you guys. Be looking out for the email on Thursday with just a reminder of how to access it. And if any other questions come in, we'll try to include some answers in that email as well, just for things that are specific to some of the new stuff we talked about today. So thanks again so much for being with us and spending your day, a little bit of it with us.
Yep. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.